So, first of all, being a journalist, there are some perks that you get to talk to the legends, you get to meet to the legends, and today is one such day for me. So, thank you so much
Very
for
kind.
taking out time, sir. It's an honor
Very,
speaking to you.
very kind of you to say that, and it's my pleasure. And thanks a lot. And I'm really, really happy to talk to you. Genuinely, thanks a lot. Very kind of you to say that.
First,
Yes.
you performed in Sri Lanka, Colombo. So, you recall any memories of that? Because after that, you started Lakshminarayana Global Music Festival. I mean, it's a long journey, but the first performance, 6-year-old child, when he first
Yeah.
performed, can you share some memories of that, sir?
Yeah. I vaguely remember, and later on, subsequently, my elder sister, who was 10 years older than me, Nallur Kanthaswamy temple,
Yes,
which is like
yes,
a Lord Muruga's temple,
yes.
where my father used to perform for this festival. They used to have different festivals, so that he used to play with my sisters and solos and things. So one such occasion, he wanted to start my career in a temple, Subramaniam Swami temple, in auspicious day. So he told the organizers that he wanted me to play also, but they said no, because it's a huge festival with thousands of people being there, and having not heard me at all, being a 6 year old, they thought I might mess up, so they told. So it's not possible. So, but my father was very, once he did decide something, he was very focused on things like that. He definitely wanted to start my career on that day. So, in between, while he was playing, suddenly he announced that now my son will play a solo, and he gave his violin. And at the time, I told that I was very scared, because I knew that organizers didn't want me to play. They said he's very young, we will give him an opportunity another time, but not in this major festival. But so one side, the organizers staring, all of us saying what is happening. The other side, if I don't play well, I have to go back home with my father. He was very strict.
Yes.
So with that tension, I don't even know what I played. But whatever he said, I played. I believe it was a huge success, and subsequently the temple authorities management said, we wanted to, introduce the new Dr. Subramaniam, the Subramaniam Swami temple. The God himself came and played through him and took all the credit. And they didn't say anything, but they took all the credit as if it was their idea to present me there in that big festival. So that's how my career started in Sri Lanka.
It's a very, very interesting story. So
Thank you.
I thought whenever I'll speak to you, I'll ask you about this. And now, sir, the reason why we are connected, because of your great father, V. Lakshmi Narayan, and
Yes.
you started Lakshmi Narayan Global Music Festival, which
Yes.
is happening now in
Yes.
5 different cities. So, first
Yes.
of all, excitement now, because जब इतना बड़ा फेस्टिवल होता है तो कहीं ना कहीं एक एक्साइटमेंट, और आर्टिस्ट में तो मुझे लगता है एक्साइटमेंट हर चीज़ के लिए रहता है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल अभी क्या दिमाग में रहता है, बिकॉज लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, बिकॉज हम भी वी आर ऑल्सो ट्राइंग टू कनेक्ट फ्रॉम लास्ट 2-3 days, एंड यू आर कंटिन्यूसली ट्रैवलिंग, जगलिंग बिटवीन flights and hotels and dinners and everything.
Yeah, the reason the festival was started.
Yeah.
My father is responsible for making the violin a major solo instrument in Carnatic music.
Yes.
Before that, violin was mainly an accompanying instrument. They played with other people.
Yes.
But that accompaniment technique was different. My father's dream was to make the Indian violin heard all over the world in major concert hall, like where the Western soloists were playing, like Yehudi Menuhin, Joshua Heifetz, and all these people, they were playing in Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, and Sydney. So he wanted Indian violin to be heard there. So then he said, in order to do that, we have to first of all improve our technique. We have an accompanying technique which just suits to play with other people. But if you have to play solo, you have to modify a lot of things and improve and take a lot of complex techniques so you can become a soloist. So he developed, sitting in Sri Lanka, a lot of solo techniques to structure the whole violin for a solo instrument. So fortunately, what happened? Um, all these things, the technique which she taught us, and all three of us, when we came back in 1958, what happened was my father, going back a little bit, around 19, later part of 30s, my father started as a visiting professor in Jaffna College of Music.
Yes.
And he used to go and come back and go and come back. Then the last trip was, after I was born, he went there in 53 or something like that. Then 1958, there was a huge riot. They killed a lot of Indians were massacred and murdered and everything because they want India to be out of Sri Lanka. They said Sri Lanka is for Sri Lankan Buddhist, and that kind of thing happened at the time. So we narrowly escaped and came back to India with nothing. My father lost everything and he has to restart his life all over again with 6 children, and totally with my parents it was 8 members. So at that stage he started the Violin Trio boldly, saying that we will start a group called Violin Trio with 3 sons, where we'll just focus only on solo. Slowly, what happened? People like Palkat Mani Iyer, he was probably the greatest mridangam player. He was fascinated. He started playing with us all over the place. We started recording. They also told me I should play solos. So all of a sudden, the whole thing shifted to solo violin, which was his idea. And then he also wanted to do present our music in major concert hall in different combination. So when I was in US, there was a person called Mr. Richard Bach. He was Satya Sai Baba devotee, and he used to produce album. He did for M.S. Lakshmi, Alek Pakan Saab, and Ravi Shankar Ji's album. All those things, he used to work with a lot of Indian great artists. And he heard me in California, and he said, you have to do a special album for me, like a fusion album, because I was doing my master's in Western classical music, studying orchestration and everything. So he told me, see, you are different from other people because you have studied Western music. You can write your own orchestral pieces. Everything you can write instead of depending on somebody else to arrange your music. You are doing everything. So you should write a fusion album and an orchestral piece. I said, those days, in part of some areas, like if you do anything different, immediately people thought you are losing the purity, or you are not interested in classical anymore, that kind of thing. But he said, no, you do this, we won't release it in India, you have to do one album for me. So I did an experimental album called Fantasy Without Limits in Los Angeles. I didn't have a group. He put together, I said, I want a keyboard player, I want a drummer. So he put together some musicians. I gave me a studio for 2 days. I have to write all the music. We recorded. Because before that, I did one album called Garland with a very famous violinist, Sven Asmussen, in Denmark, which he heard. He said, you have done it there, so you have to do it in US. I did it and I forgot about it. Then all of a sudden, when I was touring Europe, I was in France at the time, he called and said, what has happened? He said, your album has become one of the 10 best album in the category jazz album. We are with people like Herbie Hancock and Carmen McRae, and some of the greatest jazz artists who have been doing jazz for decades, Miles Davis and things like that. So we said, now, since you have done first album itself, you are gone to that thing, you have to give me 5 more albums. In the same condition, we won't release it in India, we will do things. Whatever you want, you will do it, but you have to do it. Then he also told you have to write an orchestral piece. I said, I don't want to write an orchestral piece. It takes 6 months to write, because when in the West, when you say you are writing a piece, you write every note, because Beethoven wrote every note, Bach wrote every note. But later on, in Indian context, sometimes somebody writes the melody, somebody else orchestrated, somebody else arranged it. So truly, you can't call it, it is your music. So he said, you are an exception since you have studied masters in Western classical music and orchestration. You should write an orchestral piece. I said, I don't want to sit and write for 6 months and somebody say, they don't want to play it. I would have wasted 6 months. I said, no. He took me to a conductor, where the conductor was Jack Elliott. They were doing Hollywood Bowl concert for the Oscar awards, everything they used to perform. So he said, I want you to write a piece. This is the date we will play in Music Center. And whatever you write, I play. I said, you have not, I have not written orchestral pieces. You have not heard my orchestral pieces. And I'm not sure whether you like my piece. After 6 months, if you don't like it, he said, no, your friend says you are a genius, so I will guarantee whatever you write, whether I like it or not, I'll perform. So with that idea, I wrote a piece, a double concerto with a very famous flute player, Hubert Laws. So on one side, I was doing jazz fusion album.
Right.
First one was Indian Express, Spanish Wave. Then I did a duet with Stephen Grappelli, which became a very most critically acclaimed album, Conversations, where it was also done for the same company, album Conversation, which after 40 years, I think even Mr. A.R. Rahman, he took that conversation, we re-recorded another version of the conversation. One of the pieces I wrote as a tribute to my father, Don't Leave Me, that piece. So the whole, lot of things started happening. So starting from shifting from medical doctor to a musician, itself, a lot of people told my father, your son is doing a big mistake. People won't how can anybody listen to anybody's composition while they are alive? It never happens in classical. People are normally after dead and gone only they will listen. He can practice medicine. You can all be comfortable financially. So he convinced him to leave that. But my father was, he said, if you really want to play the violin, to make it a solo instrument, you go for it. But if you are going to play house concert, everything, come back and practice medicine. So with that push and thing, I started playing a lot. We worked a lot to improve a lot of techniques, and so that attracted a lot of the greatest artists like Egudi Menuhin, Stephen Grappelli, Ruggiero Ricci. These are all, some of the great legends like we had, Ali Akbar Khan Sahab, Raviji, or people like Vilayat Khan Sahab. Like these are all people. So those kind of artists started collaborating. Menuhin asked me to write a piece for United Nations for the 40th year of India's independence. We played in New York. Zubin Maestro Mehta approached me to write a piece for India Festival. That fantasy on Vedic chant became a huge hit. And subsequently, 2 years later, when our president R. Venkatraman met the Russian president, they wanted me to play the fantasy with the top Russian orchestra. So a lot of orchestral compositions started happening. And on the other side, people like Meera wanted me to write for film, which I was not very keen because my elder brother was a fantastic film writer, Vaidyanathan. Vaidyanathan. So I told Meera, I know if you want film composition, go to my brother, he will do a better job. But she said, no, I have heard your Kirvani, I want you. I tried to convince her. In fact, even in the recently, they have re-released the as a Blu-ray, the Salam Bombay film.
Right.
And I did, strangely, when I was in Calcutta many years back, Mr. Satyajit Ray was in one of my fusion concerts. After that, we met and he invited me to his place. The first thing he asked me was, why don't you do more films? I said, it's not my area. I do Indian classical and orchestral thing. He said, Salam Bombay is not an extra. There's no extra note or no less note. It's a perfect score. You should try and do more films. It'll be good for our film industry. So it's everything just happened in a different direction. I was pulled in, I did it. But most important thing was doing the festival. After my father passed away, Vijay and we decided as a tribute to him because I feel he's a unsung hero. He has done so much for Indian violin. Today, the Indian violin played all the concerts in remote places, whether it is Kazakhstan or Iceland or New Zealand, everywhere, we have played as a solo. It's a major concert hall. It is because of him. Because the training, what he gave, and what the approach, he changed the technique, everything. But the face of it, I have become the face of it because people see me and hear me. So they think I have done it. Actually, I have not done it. It is my father, Lakshminarayana. So after he passed away, Vijay and me decided we will start this festival in his honor because I almost stopped playing for a while. After he passed away, I didn't want to touch the violin. Every time I saw the violin, I remembered him. So then she said, no, his dream was to make the Indian violin globally known, which he saw during your time. He heard you playing with New York Philharmonic. He heard you playing with Menuhin. Now, if you stop it, it is going back on what he wanted. So let us start a festival and we will invite all the people. So we started on January 11th on his birthday of 1992. With Emma Subbulakshmi singing a prayer song. Then we had T.T. Vasu. And since then, we want to do it only in Chennai. But then, because of the interest, we did in Delhi and other places. Then it became international. We have done it globally in many countries, all the
Yes.
5 continents.
Yes.
And this June, we will be coming back here to do here also. So that this year in India, we were doing 5. For the first time, we are bringing an orchestra, choir, and a ballet, all 3 at the same time. Because doing orchestral work, I've been doing since 1981, doing symphonic works, and that has been my major interest also, doing major concert orchestral thing. So we have done a lot of orchestral thing. After doing every time I've been asked to write orchestral pieces outside India and commission in different countries and recorded with London Symphony quite a bit. So I wanted to do premiere something in India also. So this time Navagraha Symphony is based on nine grahas. You know, whenever anybody is born, we believe that position of these 9 grahas
Yes.
decide the destiny of an individual. So I've taken the old Sanskrit slokas and completely symphonically arranged it with the choir. And also there is a ballet which is going to be doing one of my compositions, Shanti Priya, with the live orchestra. And this is going to be like 3 generation. Kavita will be singing mainly the Navagraha Symphony, and with my daughter Bindu and Mahati, granddaughter, they will be also participating. And Ambi, of course, he'll be playing Shanti Priya solo part. So I'm really looking forward to that. This particular 35th, 36th Fathers Lakshminarayana Global Music Festival, and we are extremely happy we are coming to Calcutta also, because that's one place where people are very, very artistic also.
Yes. Sir, one question I would like to ask you. I mean, do you still feel nervous before the concert? What are the feelings?
I think before the concert, normally in my case, I think about Lord Ganesha and my father, Guru. Then I pick up my violin. I once remember there was a very major, big concert which was happening in France with Mr. Stefan Grappelli. He was Stefan Grappelli was like a god to some of the people in the jazz field.
Yes.
So I was playing with him. So when I went there, so all of a sudden in the biggest festival, I saw my name on the top billing, and under my name was Mr. Stefan Grappelli's name. So I got worried because the locals might get offended, and he was like much older and senior to me, and plus he was also one of the most known musicians in the world. So I called my father. I used to call my father before any major concert, whether it is Indian classical or the orchestral. I used to call him. So I told him, this today I'm playing, but I'm a little worried about it because he's such a big senior artist. They have put my name, and I hope he doesn't mind. And he's also much older. He was my father's age group. Then he said, "Why do you worry? I've taught a lot of people, but there could be only one Chakravarti. You go and play, everything will be all right." Only one time he told something, and before that he never complimented anything. I played so many concerts, he used to come listen. He never used to say, "Oh, it was great, it was fine." He'll just say, "Good, that's all." So we really can't read his mind, because whether he is really happy, satisfied, or not satisfied. But before I left 1973, there was a very great musician, Chembai Vaidyanatha Bhagu, the doyen of classical music. So he gave me the title Violin Chakravarti, Governor of Madras, when I was 25 years old. So my father reminded me, see, this is what happened. So why do you worry? You think of God and go and play. So that was a huge suck. That was also a great, like a tonic boost for me, saying that, Father is blessing me. So that blessing keeps me going.
And one more thing, sir. You have got 5 honorary doctorate degrees, but then you have done MBBS also. And once I read somewhere that when you were giving the interview of the MBBS exam, then the interviewer asked you ki you are a musician, why you want to hold a medical seat? So is that true?
Yeah, because that 1 year before I joined medical college in 1964, 65, we got this All India Radio competition, the President Award they call it. If you become first, you get to get the award from the President of India. At that time, Mr. Radhakrishnan, Dr. Radhakrishnan was our president. So I received the award from him, and there was also Pandit Nehru. He congratulated me. That came in the newspapers. So these people who were sitting in the medical interview board, they have seen that paper. I used to play concerts, quite a lot, many concerts, even from much younger age. So they asked me, why do you want to waste a medical seat? You are already an established musician. You got the president award. Why do you want to waste a medical seat? You might leave in the middle. I said, no, I really want to become a medical doctor because at that time, music was a thing, but I also really loved science. If I have to study, I said, I want to become a doctor. So my father said, okay, go and study, and if you get scholarship, everything, because we were financially in a very, very bad state. So we didn't have any enough money and everything survival. So that too, after leaving and coming from Sri Lanka, we lost everything. My father started teaching a lot of people, Raja, and many people learned from my father. So he was going on bicycle to teach people and everything. So I saw him struggling. So I thought maybe that some steady income, everybody knew, if you become a doctor, at least you'll have some steady income somewhere. You can sit and write a prescription even sitting in a garage. So I wanted to study medicine. But then this is a question they asked me. I said, no, I won't drop out. I'll finish medicine. I want to become a doctor.
But then in the second year, you wanted to drop and go to Germany. You were also getting a scholarship.
Yeah, because my inner thing was always I want to be like my father, play the violin, and play like him. And his dream became my dream that this Indian violin has to be played in Carnegie Hall, Lincoln Center, Opera House, and Royal Albert Hall. All these dreams came, pushing me. So when one of the German violinists, my father took me to the concert, and then he also wanted me to play. He wanted me to play and get his opinion from the Western point of view. So he told me he's extremely talented. Send him with me. He can do his masters in music, and he can become a solo violinist. He can have a career in music in Europe. So immediately we jumped, going to Germany because I love Bach music, and so I said it would be a great opportunity. Father was also very happy. But when I went to my mother, she said, nothing doing. You said you go back, finish your medicine,
Yes.
get the piece of paper. Next day you do whatever you want, it is okay. But ultimately, I tell you, it was one of the best advice I got, and I thank her for that because one, when I finished after finishing, when I did my master's in Western music, which I got a full scholarship, they asked for the bachelor's certificate. I didn't have a BA music, but I had this MBBS.
Yes.
But when I did my PhD, they want my bachelor's, master's, PhD certificate. Then when I did my DLit, Doctor of Literature and Music, that they wanted PhD certificate and MA certificate, everything. So without that one piece of MBBS paper, I would have been able to get finally degree. So I finished my medicine, then did my PhD and DLit in music.
Right. And one more thing before I wind up. When you got the result of your MBBS, there was an error and you have to wait for like 24 hours.
Where it was normally those days in newspaper, they used to print the numbers, and the next day they will say error correction. So after the interview, I told my father I won't get it because these people said, why do you want to waste a medical seat? And you are a musician. So they said that, so definitely they're not very positive about giving a seat for me. So when the day morning newspaper, my number was there, my father looked at it and said, your number seems to be there. I saw the number. Then my elder brother, Vaidyanathan, friend, was also studying in the medical college, second year or third year or something like that. He said they have put up all the numbers, final numbers in the notice board. You should come and check. I was very sure the next day, 24 hours, I'll get a notice. The newspaper will say a correction and drop that number. So that's what I told my father. But he said, in any case, go and see in the university, Madras Medical College, there's a board there. I went and saw that slowly from bottom. I saw slowly coming up. Finally, my number was there. So I told my father, it looks like my number is here also. Then he said, let us wait till tomorrow and see. So tomorrow, the correction, my number was not there. So he knew I got it.
Great. एंड सर लास्टली सिंस मुझे तो लग रहा है आपसे बहुत सारी बातें की जा सकती हैं बट यू आर ऑल्सो टायर्ड लास्टली व्हाट you want to say anything you want to say to the viewers, I mean, who want to come to the festival, your fans, anything you want to say?
You know, we have been doing the festival for 35 years. And we have brought, I mean, some of the greatest artists,
Yes.
Indian artists like M. S. Subbulakshmi, Bismillah Khan Sahab, from the south and north. And the whole Jugalbandi trend was started with me and Usrat Ali Akbar Khan Sahab. Because when I was in the US, he said, let us do something together. So we could do, before that, South Indians played separately, North Indians played separately, but sometimes they had some percussion. But really playing two melodic instruments, they had Khan Sahib used to play with Ravi ji, and Khan Sahib used to play, Bilal Khan Sahib used to play with Bismillah Khan Sahib, that with two North Indian artists. But North-South Jugalbandi was not there. So Alipa Khan Sahib said, let us do something. We started this duet in 70s. And subsequently, I was very fortunate to do Bismillah Khan Sahab, Pandit Jasraj, a lot of Jugalbandis. I did it. And we were able to bring all those new concepts to our festival. Then some of the most famous folk artists, most famous jazz artists like Stanley Clarke, George Duke, Al Giro, Jean-Luc Ponty, Billy Cobham, all those different people. We were also able to bring some great orchestras many times. But now this is the first time we are premiering the Navagraha Symphony with my 3 generations, my family, with orchestra. We are also having a choir. We are also having a ballet. This has never happened in India, to my knowledge, which we are able to do it in India for the first time for Lakshminarayana Global Music Festival. That makes me feel so happy. And I think this will be one of the very, very rare opportunity for the audiences to see all the 3. Because separately I brought orchestras, separately choir has come, but also ballet and everybody together. This is the first time. And a lot of music has been written, really new pieces have been. Navagraha Symphony is about 45 minutes, the longest piece, classical symphonic piece I've written. So we are putting so much of effort, and Shanti Priya Ballet is going to be there. So in the orchestra in the south, probably I'm probably the only composer who has done more than 40 symphonic pieces and performed more than 300 symphonic performances of my own music everywhere. But it has not been brought to India, everything. So this time we are doing everything together at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to the special presentation being 35th year. And also, I think Kavita is also really, really looking forward to coming to Calcutta because it is one of her most favorite places for me also because they are very artistic, very cultured, and we are really looking forward to coming to Calcutta and performing. And I hope people get probably something which they have never seen before.
Yes, sir. And we are also so looking forward to it, the whole nation, Kolkata, Delhi, the 5 cities where you are performing. And thank you so much, sir, not just for this interview, but for so much of music, so much of art which you have given. And I mean, we are indebted to you. Thank you so much, sir. And I'll see you in Delhi.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.